It is not just the NBA where free agency is running wild. Over on the ice, NHL Free Agency also underway. The reigning champs, Florida Panthers, after re-upping Sam Bennett, they managed to re-sign both Aaron Ekblad and Brad Marchand. Also, when it comes to trades, Mitch Marner now has a new home in Vegas, but there are still plenty of big names and big deals to be had. For more on that, we welcome in our biggest name in hockey, Pierre McGuire. Let's start in Vancouver here. The Canucks and Brock Besser agreed to a 7-year, $7.3 million per year AAV deal. How important was it for the Canucks to try to keep him?
Really important, Amanda, and you got to give credit where credit's due. Brock Besser's agent, Ben Hankinson, did a great job negotiating this deal for Brock Besser, number one. Number two, I got to think Brock Besser was thrilled with what upper management did, led by Jimmy Rutherford and Patrick Alvin, getting Thatcher Demko back, getting Connor Garland back, making sure they have a professional staff to replace Rick Tocchet in Adam Foote, Kevin Dean, Brett McLean, and Scott Young. I think Brock Besser saw all this positive stuff happening around the team, plus the addition of Evander Kane from the Edmonton Oilers. Said, you know what? Sometimes the grass isn't always greener. I kind of like it here. I was drafted by these guys in 2015 with the 23rd pick overall. I'm going to stick in Vancouver because I think I'm part of the solution, not part of the problem. I think it's great news for Canucks fans. I think it's great for Brock, and I think it's fantastic for that top line in Vancouver with Besser, Pettersson, and DeBrusk.
With him off the board, and we'll stay in Canada here, maybe now consider the top free agent, Nikolai Eers. The reports are not expected to sign with Winnipeg on opening day or necessarily in the next couple of days. What do you know about that? How much do we read into it?
I would read a lot into it. Number one is that they've been active on the free agent market, talking about the Winnipeg Jets. They think their window is still open to win, Amanda. So if Nikolai Eers doesn't have the appetite to want to go back to Winnipeg, there won't be a shortage of suitors. I think the number goes up if he does go to free agency, which he obviously is exploring right now. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him land a deal larger than Brock Besser's on the open market, because basically now the market's dried up of top-end offensive players, and Nikolai Eers is one of those players. He's had a tremendous career playing for the Winnipeg Jets. He had a great career playing major junior hockey for Halifax, and I think, quite frankly, Nick Eers is now the biggest name left on the board, and I'd be shocked if he didn't get big money, in fact, bigger money than Brock Besser, and Winnipeg Jets just move on from Nikolai Eers.
What are some of the teams out there that you think would be after him?
I would say the Columbus Blue Jackets probably would be after him. I'd say the Carolina Hurricanes might be after him. And I'd love to see what would be going on with the Tampa Bay Lightning and maybe even the New York Rangers.
Okay, speaking of the Rangers, maybe that'll be it. They've already got some big signings going on, also some big trades. Fill us in on what's going on in New York.
It's amazing, Amanda, when you think about it. Everybody in this league really wants defense. So you think about the Rangers. They've traded away Keandre Miller. Ryan Lindgren was traded away last year. Jacob Trouba was traded away last year. They didn't qualify Zach Jones. So now they're looking at defense. It's lost 4 of their top 6 defensemen from the start of last season. I see Gavrikov coming over from L.A. Wouldn't be surprised if he plays with Adam Fox. But if you look at the rest of that defense, is it competent? Yeah. Is it elite? No, it's not elite at all. Gavrikov's a big body. He can skate. He can shoot the puck. He's coming off a great year with the Los Angeles Kings. I watched him play in the 2018 Olympics in Pyeongchang. That was really his breakthrough moment as a player, and that got the attention of a lot of NHL people. He can bring some offense. He can bring some defense. He'll be a good partner for Adam Fox. But again, for the Rangers, I'm worried about their lack of depth, quality depth on the back end.
The very first soccer game I ever went to was the Rangers at the Garden versus the Pens. So it's where you fall in love with hockey. Let's talk about Connor McDavid and the Oilers. Look, once the Panthers got their deal done, and maybe even before, this is the biggest news in the hockey world. What's going to happen with him? He's got a year left. Potentially, could he move on? Could he stay till the end of the year and then decide to move on or sign a new deal? Does he sign a new deal now? I don't know if you're hearing anything. I don't know if you have a gut instinct about Connor McDavid. Try to talk to Oilers fans and let them know what you think could be going on with the biggest name in hockey.
Amanda, last Wednesday and Thursday, Jeff Jackson, the president of hockey operations, and Stan Bowman, the general manager of the Edmonton Oilers, flew to Toronto. They met with Connor McDavid and his representatives in Toronto. Now, maybe Connor was on Zoom and wasn't there face-to-face, but there still was a meeting of the minds. And I have to think that they were pretty happy on the Connor McDavid side, because one of the things I know they wanted was for Evan Bouchard to be signed by the Edmonton Oilers. Evan Bouchard has been signed by the Edmonton Oilers, 4-year deal, $10.5 million a year. So that's locked up. Leon Draisaitl's locked up long-term. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is signed and lined up long-term. Zach Hyman's signed up, and so they're protecting Connor McDavid. I'd be shocked if Connor McDavid did not sign a contract extension. He's eligible to sign one of those starting today. I don't think it's one of those deals that happens immediately, but I do think he signs and stays with the Edmonton Oilers for the foreseeable future.
Do you think he signs, during the offseason, or would he go through this entire next year? Because they do need a goalie, and that's something they have not locked up.
It's a great point about the goaltending, whether it's Calvin Pickard or Stuart Skinner. I couldn't agree with you more. That really seems to be one of the weaknesses of their organization. But you're spot on, Amanda. I think the biggest thing is he's going to sign before that, and then we'll see where the marketplace takes them from there. But I think they need roster stability. The West is heating up. Anaheim's going to be improved. San Jose is going to be improved. Minnesota's going to be much improved. Vancouver's going to be much improved. Calgary's going to be much improved. Winnipeg's not going anywhere. And Vegas just made themselves much better with Mitchell Marner. I think the West is a beast. And for the Edmonton Oilers, they need to stabilize their roster as quickly as possible.
All right, moving on here. This is a subject we did not necessarily have in our rundown until our producer talked to you, said we got to talk about the Bruins. Not too pleased with what they're doing. Why is that?
Well, I just have to tell you, I hate mocking or making fun of people that are in hockey, because I've stood in their shoes. I've sat in their seat. I know the pressure that's on you. I don't understand what the Boston Bruins are doing, Amanda. They traded away Trent Frederick. If you look at Trent Frederick's career numbers, and then you compare them to what Tanner Jeannot, who they just signed to a deal with for 5 years, $3.4 million a year, and you look at the comparables, you're like, are you kidding me? So you see Trent Frederick, who's a first-round pick of the Boston Bruins. You see the age, he's younger. You see the points, goals, that is, he has more. Assists, he has more. Total points, he has more. The only thing he doesn't have more of is penalty minutes. Trent Frederick was a first-round pick. Tanner Jeannot was never drafted into the National Hockey League after having a very good career, by the way, with the Moose Jaw Warriors in the Western Hockey League. This is just one of those things where people in Boston are saying, hey, wait a second. I thought we were moving forward. We're kind of taking a step back. And then you got to compound it with, they went out and signed Sean Corrali today. 2 years ago, they lose Patrice Bergeron, they lose David Krejci, they lose all these center icemen. They traded away Charlie Coyle. And now they're telling us, well, the forwards are better because they have better depth down the middle. That's not true at all. And so what they did is they signed Sean Corrali, who's a nice depth player, but I don't think the Bruins have moved their roster forward at all today.
It was tough enough for the Bruins last season, losing Brad Marchand to the Panthers, and now this. Brad Marchand, now a Florida Panther for the foreseeable future, signing his deal there. Pierre McGuire, we appreciate you so much. We'll talk to you as these deals continue to come in, and you give us your thoughts about them. Notable upcoming dates over in the NHL. Free agency opening today. Regular season schedule release. Looking forward to that. That should come in the middle of the month.